Boris has decided to do another reshuffle. I think actually this is his first proper reshuffle since he became Prime Minister, so I shouldn't say another.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is a thing that Prime Ministers do on occasion to move everyone around, get rid of people who are unpopular, put in people who are popular, and nothing changes because the structure is the same. And this was somewhat interesting, though, because some of the people did change that are of note. So if we scroll down on this is just the BBC reporting on the reshuffle. First thing I wanted to mention, Johnson's cabinet, and you can see there, you can filter this list by all new roles, newcomers, women BAME.
Oh, God damn it, BBC.
They have a section for the BAMEs. The BAME only list.
Quick, segregate the non-whites off.
Can you click on BAME for me, John, just to get the point? This is interactive as well, so you can go look at your BAMEs. You know how many you've got on your report card, because the BBC is a sick
And
organisation.
I look at the people though. Do you think Sajid Javid and Priti Patel would be like, oh yes, please segregate me off on the BBC website? I would love people to think of me as non-British because of my skin color, please.
But also the women as well. It's just like, let's just segregate the women because that's all they are.
Just to
women.
be clear, the Conservative women didn't get there because of affirmative action. Labour.
That's the whole point. Anyway, so getting into this,
Which is why they're on their second female prime minister. Probably moving on to their third if Priti Patel carries on. Anyway, moving on.
So Gavin Williamson, the education secretary, was kicked for polling badly. He was the guy who tried to do some free speech stuff, but on the other side messed up A-levels and whatnot because of COVID and things. So he was replaced. I think they put the vaccines minister, the YouGov guy, Zahawi or whatever his name is, in his place. Everyone was hoping it was going to be Kemi because that would be awesome, but it wasn't to be. But there were two appointments that are worth talking about. So first one being Liz Truss. Liz Truss getting fast-tracked to Foreign Secretary. Mm-hmm. She was international trade before. And you remember she was in charge of women's inequalities?
Yes, the official position that was made by the Labour Party, because it sounds like something out of the Soviet Union, that she went into and was like, no, women have vaginas.
That's her stance.
Yeah.
She's keeping that. So for the next one, she's holding on to that position because in her words, whenever she's asked about it, it's not that hard a job.
Where's the equality in that? She has two jobs and some people don't have any. Cry harder.
Yeah, so she's doing that for a laugh on the side because it is a laugh.
I love the disdain, the disrespect for Labour's positions here.
Yeah, I wish they just repealed the whole
They
department,
should get rid of it. Yeah.
You know, whatever, I'll take it. But the big hub was around a new lady.
Ooh.
New lady, rising star, Nadine Dorries.
Oh, the Labour Party have another problem with a woman, do they?
Yeah, so this is
Weird.
also another actually position.
Just before we move on, how many female party leaders has Labour had?
Zero.
How many female prime ministers has Labour had?
Zero.
Really, that's weird. It seems like the Labour Party might be a bit misogynistic.
So this is another position the Labour Party set up, the Culture Secretary, and they put Nadine Dorries in charge of this. This is, again, a Soviet kind of sounding position.
Sounds incredibly Soviet,
not
doesn't
liberal.
it? Secretary of Culture. Get rid of it, Conservatives.
Yeah, but that means she's in charge of the culture wars. Let's say that's the point she's going to be doing.
Okay.
So if we go to the next one, we can see some Tories here. So Turning Point UK being an example of some Tories who rejoicing about this, being very happy.
So let me just read this. Left-wing snowflakes are killing comedy, tearing down historic statues, removing books from universities, dumbing down Panto, removing Christ from Christmas, and suppressing free speech. Sadly, it must be true. History does repeat itself. It will be music next. Wow, that's a very good statement.
Yeah, so leftists very mad, and I thought we'd go through some of the leftists being mad. So we go to the next one. We have Anna Soubry being mad. The appointment of Nadine Dorries as Culture Secretary is a final confirmation, if you needed it, that we are indeed have the worst Prime Minister and government ever.
Well, 21,000 likes proves that you're not a Conservative, doesn't it, Anna?
Also the fact that you left the party,
Yep.
and then started your own party called the Cuck Party.
And now you're not even in Parliament, are you?
No. They also lost every election the Cuck Party engaged in because they were literally called the Cuck Party. So the literal cuck is upset. Right.
Good.
Okay, so we'll move on from this. There's another hoe that is mad, Ash Sarkar, who is mad. Anyway, congratulations
Literal,
to
yeah.
Penny Mordaunt, Nadine Dorries, to her promotion to Culture Minister. And she's saying that confusing to the appointments because Nadine Dorries confused some brown people for looking like the same people.
Nadine Dorries accused of thinking brown women look the same.
In particular, Ash Sarkar and someone else.
And she's in charge of whatever the Culture Secretary does.
Yes,
Right.
which is culture.
Excellent.
So she's mad about that. Again, I don't care because, people look the same. Like, if white people look the same, is that a racial comment? And we'll get to that in a minute. So we go to the Islamists being mad as well. The Islamists are, of course, mad. What are they mad about?
Oh, no.
Number one, she shared tweets by Tommy Robinson. Yep. About a 7-year-old child being raped. Like, that's not the important thing. Again, it's the truth of the thing doesn't matter
Jesus.
the person. So, Robinson mentioned a 7-year-old child who was raped by 5 men, and she's the bad guy for making that known. She asked Sadiq Khan about grooming gangs, open brackets, what's it got to do with him?
Oh, well, that's a really great question.
Number 3 said vote rigging is commonplace in Muslim communities.
We know that's true.
Tower Hamlets and Birmingham.
Leicester.
But the two big ones, I don't know if Leicester was proven.
No, Leicester was absolutely proven.
Okay,
and
so
I think Bedford as well, where the Brexit Party was supposed to win. I think that they got stiffed on that.
Okay, but we have at least 3 examples that are proven in court.
Yes.
Let's say, and they're all in.
In Leicester, there was
Muslim areas.
literally a vote-making factory, ballot-making factory that was discovered.
Yeah, so I love the fact that she's like, the context of Robinson's reporting on race-based human trafficking is not important. It's the fact that the man said it, the bad man. Also, why do you resent that remark? Why are you upset about that? Mentioned some race-based child trafficking.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on to Pink News, who are also mad. So in 2012, the new Culture Secretary Nadine Dorris claimed that she would never meet a single gay couple who wanted to marry. When Pink News published this, thousands of gay couples tried to enlighten her. She voted against same-sex marriage anyway, saying it took the sex out of marriage.
Okay, well,
interesting.
Just don't back down, I guess.
Yeah, it took the sex out of marriage. I mean,
I don't know what that means, but okay.
It's not there's no reproduction. So there's
right. Yeah.
So if we go to some of her tweets, some people are also like digging out her tweets and acting mad about them for some stupid reason. And there's another one here, so an old tweet. Apparently I'm racist because I think Chukra Munering looks like Chris Eubank. What would be said if I said he looked like someone who was white?
We're in uncharted waters here. I don't even want to...
I know, but it is
dread
dumb.
to think.
It's like if 2 white guys look the same, Ed Miliband and, I don't know, Wallace and Gromit. You know, Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
Chris Whitty and a paedophile.
Leave that there. So moving on. So if we go to the next one, there's some other tweets from her. So if gay marriage bill takes sex out of marriage, could a sister marry a sister to avoid inheritance tax? So there's a question she asked during the debate, which
I look at the way they frame this. Nadine Dorris compares gay marriage to incest.
No, she's talking about long-term tax planning there, which well, how would you stop it? I mean, if people want to rig the system, they're going to do it. They don't have to do anything, obviously. It's not actually incest.
What? Are you saying that Ilhan Omar has got a new defense?
Yes.
I married my brother for the inheritance tax. Honestly, government.
I'm sure she'll try. She's also very pro-life, Nadine Dorris. So if we go to the next one, this is her saying it's time to reduce the upper abortion limits from 24 weeks to 20 weeks.
Yeah, let's do it.
This was in response. So she's witnessed
patrol.
2 abortions that were before 24 weeks that were both botched. So that's affected her personally. Also, there was proven that at 23 weeks it can survive without the womb. Sorry, outside of the womb. Therefore, it's like, well, okay, well, if that's the limit, the reason, then let's bring it down.
Okay.
So both bills were shot down on that. She's also pro-Brexit, because of course she is. So it happened. Brexit is done. Dancing. And also wishes GB News well. So there's a new culture secretary and media secretary. Nadine Dorris, it's truly exciting. Cannot wait. Good luck to everyone involved. GB News.
I can't wait to see her being interviewed on GB News.
But this is a Guardian verified checkmark being mad about this. It's oh God, how dare the person involved in media wish media companies.
Oh, I hope you feel that the entire country is going far right, Paul Johnson. It's all the walls are closing in. They're coming for you. They're going to make you do nothing.
I mean, also, why do we have this position, Paul? If you're mad about having someone in charge of the media, how about we just abolish the position?
But this is just, oh God, this is just the eternal argument. It's like, look, right, you can use the government to do anything you want, but you're not going to have control of it forever. And whatever you've created, whatever precedents you've set, when your enemies get control of them, you're going to be howling about it. And there you are. Here we go.
Too bad. So also we have on the burqa ban. Her opinions on the burqa ban are very funny. There should be another one in there. But she says on the burqa ban, the government should ban the burqa. No woman in a liberal progressive society should be forced to cover up her beauty or her bruises. Boris didn't go far enough. France, Denmark, Holland, and Belgium aren't on their knees in an apology.
Come on.
Look to the bravery of Iranian women and learn.
Okay, she seems wonderful, Callum.
Yeah. I'm not done.
Okay,
it gets better.
Let's go.
So, women's shortlist. So, we'll go to the Conservative Home. She wrote an article about this. She was writing about women's only shortlists, and she had some things to say about the Labour benches. The Labour women.
Go on then.
Of Labour women, sometimes I feel very sorry for some of the Labour women who are selected via all-women shortlists.
Okay.
Everyone knows who they are. They are constantly derided, and that's just by male Labour MPs.
Oh.
Parliament takes no prisoners. No one in any party takes them seriously, and actually, many are amongst the worst performers in the House. They constantly suffer the humiliation of comments made to wound, spoken to remind them that they didn't arrive because of anything they had achieved, other than being born female.
She may as well have just named Jess Phillips there.
Yeah, and the rest of them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Nadia Witham comes to mind. Baby of the house, why you're there? Because you're a woman, not because you've ever done anything.
that's
You
just
literally can't have.
Brutal.
Yeah, so great. She also, of course, has her views on leftist culture, being the culture secretary. So left-wing snowflakes, a killing comedy, so on and so forth, the one you mentioned before. And also we have some more on this, because the thing in my mind is, because she's in charge of culture, she's also responsible for Section 127.
Ah.
Her department, they're the ones in charge of this now.
Oh, okay.
So if we go to the next one, just want to mention this. And if you are in mid-Bedfordshire and her constituent, if you're a watcher from there, be in contact with her office constantly about this, because she is your MP and also the one in charge of this. This is the route for it to be done, to get it abolished.
Right. Email. If you're in Bedfordshire, what was it,
Mid-Bedfordshire. It's the constituency.
Email her and ask her to either repeal it or just cripple it in some way. Do it.
Well, the Law Commission recommends repeal.
There we go.
You've got that backing. You
go.
don't even have to appeal to like the Free Speech Union, who also recommend appeal. The Law Commission, the government's own body, recommends repeal.
Email. Get emailing. But you've got to do it if you're in her constituency, because the MPs are really funny about that.
The way Britain works is an MP can only take on an issue of a constituent within their constituency.
So yes, if you're in Mid-Bedford, email. Get emailing now, now.
She also has an opinion on cancelling. So this is when, Julie Hartley-Brewer was cancelled from giving some speech. She was no platformed. And in response, she said, "Our institutions are being taken over by the extreme left, who behaved in this infantile manner. What pathetic decision to take, RCGP. You platform one of our biggest defenders of democracy and free speech."
I'm honestly expecting the next tweet to be like, yes, my favourite channel is Sargon of Akkad. Why do you ask? Like, this is all my talking points. These are all the things I want done.
Yeah, I mean, just liberal stuff to fix the country.
Well,
if
yeah,
you could.
obviously, but like,
So if we move on, we also have one more thing I found from her, which was interesting. So this was some debate in which some bint diversity hire was asking, "Why don't you do Labour's policies, please?" And she responded by just get good scrub.
why don't you get elected?
Yeah, literally. She was just like, "Well, we were elected, so we have the mandate to carry out our policies. If you want your policies done, get elected." And then she sat down and was just like, "Go to hell. Worthless people." Just utterly pathetic.
Love it.
Anyway, so the last thing to mention on this is the Conservative chairman. So this is the guy who was previously the culture secretary, who I wasn't impressed with. He's been moved to the chairman of the party, apparently. So he decided to say, breaking, get ready for a general election. Now, Oliver, Doris is one hell of a force by the looks of it. Liz Truss is one hell of a force, but really doesn't look like the greatest thing to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for a general election now.
What's wrong with you?
Why would you? You've got the majority.
Like, they seem pretty cool, but let them prove themselves to be based before doing the election.
But what have you got to gain?
I know, right? Like, they have this massive majority, and they're like, yeah, now that we've raised taxes, election.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible idea.
Dumb idea.
Just fix the country. You've got, 3 years left or 4 years left? Just get it done.
But that's from the Telegraph, so I don't know how factual that is or not, but it's
that would be bloody
quoted
stupid.
as him as saying. But anyway, I wanted to mention, apparently we now have another friend in a high place of freedom, and she's in the culture department. So, I mean,
Good.
It's not like she's in finance or something that's not really relevant to culture wars.
No.
She is culture warrior in chief of the British government and knows where the chips lie and what needs to be done.
Yes.
And
okay.
Get on with it. And if you're in mid-Bedfordshire, email her to your fingers bleed.
Yes.
And
And well done, Boris, for doing something useful.
yeah, although he moved around a lot of people, it's mostly just that's the one I'm excited about.
Yeah, but it can't be a coincidence that she became the culture secretary with all of those opinions.
I hope so.
Because I mean, they would have had drinks in the number 10 bar or something on the Parliament
She's been
bar,
a long defender of Boris.
where she's obviously been going, Boris, this is all terrible. Why are we allowing this to happen? We've got to stop this. And it's like, okay, well, go ahead, Nadine.
It's like the ghost of based Boris back when he existed.
Okay, if it takes him, giving the responsibility to someone else who can do it, okay, we'll let them do it.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to the full premium content we have on the site.
Yeah, we've got some really good stuff. Like podcasts, we can't really put up on YouTube or other public domains because we're dealing with sensitive subjects and we don't want to be misconstrued in what we're saying here. The most recent one I've done is the Progressing to Destruction podcast, which is talking about the actual impact of immigration on the United Kingdom. There are lots of progressive arguments on how the ethnic diversity of the restaurants that you're enjoying has nothing but positive results for the United Kingdom, and that's not true, and we can actually see some of the consequences of this. And so I go through that in detail. We also have our regular series, such as the Epochs of the Lotus Eaters, where we talk about history, myself and Bodade. With this particular one I really enjoyed because it's talking about the Battle of Tunis, and why leadership matters, because this was in the First Punic War, where Carthage is losing horrifically to the Romans, and they can't understand why, because there's nothing wrong with their navy, there's nothing wrong with their army. Turns out it was all about the leadership, and all it took was one Spartan general to come and turn the entire thing around. And that was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed doing that. And we also have the Contemplation series that Josh and Hugo do. This is really interesting, where they just take an interesting subject and go through it in meticulous detail. This particular episode is the science of conformity, and you may well have seen lots of people still wearing their masks in the UK and elsewhere, even though you don't have to. And this goes into why psychology shows that people happen to do this kind of thing. We also have lots of premium articles, again, dealing with subjects that often are not something that you can adequately have a conversation with a bad faith actor. This particular one is free speech and the trope of gay parenthood, which on the, immediately you think, okay, this is going to be politically incorrect in some way, but it's not really. It's actually a very delicate article expressing concern that this is yet another subject where the results aren't in, we don't know what the consequences of this are, and yet we're still not allowed to question the premise. And it's because of the current political environment that we're in. Also, there are lots of other just very interesting and informative articles, such as one by Hugo about how overpopulation isn't real. It's not a real thing. And yet we're constantly told that it is. But the Earth is enormous. And it turns out it can hold billions more humans than we actually have. So, interesting that. And we also have loads of very interesting interviews with people who you may not have heard of, such as Hatton Tash, the lady who was attacked, a Christian lady who was attacked at Speaker's Corner for questioning Islamism. She was stabbed in the head. In very interesting interview with her and various others. And of course, we have a live event coming up on the 24th and 25th of September. Now, the 25th of September one is sold out. So you'll have to, if you would like to come and see us, come to the Friday 24th September one. This is in South London. As you sign up, you will be emailed the exact location, because there are bad faith political actors out there who might try and interfere with the event itself. So there we go.
If you want to get access to all the premium content, please go over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to keep the show running. Thank you and goodbye.